As February is the month of the heart, this Herbal Ally series episode is dedicated to one of my favourite heart health herbs, Hawthorn. Found in the hedgerows, this herb is the herb for healthy ageing and matters of the heart. Today I'm sharing about the research that supports the use of this herb, particularly in relation to heart disease and diabetes. I'll also share how best to take your Hawthorn. Let's get started, shall we? Well, hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to Project Joyful, the podcast for health-centered leaders. I'm your host, Tracy Tutty, your medical herbalist, neuro-identity evolution practitioner, and high-performance coach. So hey, Project Joyful isn't just about being happy. It's about consciously creating a life you love. It's about remembering how to reconnect with your soul-centered joy. You know, that joy that comes from doing what you love, from living on purpose, and from being in a life that allows you to experience deep joy, moment by moment. It's also about bringing that joy into your workplace and using your skills as a health-centered leader to heal your team. So let's get started, shall we? So let's talk about Hawthorn. We use Crataegus levigata or Crataegus monogyna. The difference in the name is down to the number of seeds housed in the berry or haw. Yep, the berry is known as a haw. That's H-A-W, in case my pronunciation is making you think of other things. In herbal medicine, we use the leaf, the flower, and the berry. And I'm going to refer to it as a berry so you don't laugh every time I say it. The berry of Crataegus monogyna has one seed, whereas the berry of Crataegus levigata has two seeds. And its common names include thornapple, maytree, whitethorn, mayflower, or hawberry. The name mayflower comes from the traditional northern hemisphere month for being in flower, which is May. So May in flower. The hawthorn is a small tree or shrub that's often used as a hedgerow. It belongs to the Rosaceae family or rose family. Now, I love that this herb is so amazing for the heart, and it's also part of the rose family. Hawthorn's used as a food and as a medicine. For all you lovers of jam, hawthorn is packed with pectin, so it's a great jam setting accompaniment. And of course, there's nothing more delicious than hawthorn jam or jelly. It also makes a delicious syrup, a tasty infused brandy, which is one of its traditional applications, and it's not too shabby infused in a gin either. Hawthorn is a potent antioxidant due to its abundance of polysaccharides and that wonderful rich berry colour that comes from its oligomeric procyanidins. And these exert a potent anti-inflammatory effect, which is confirmed through research. Hawthorn has a broad range of actions which support heart health. It's anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. It reduces lipids and balances unhelpful cholesterol ratios. And it supports endothelial cell function as well. So impaired endothelial function alongside inflammation is what's implicated in narrowed arteries. Researchers have confirmed hawthorn's ability to lower systolic and diastolic blood pressure. So diastolic is the second number in your blood pressure reading, and it's a measure of the pressure in your arteries when the heart's resting between beats. The first number is your systolic blood pressure, and it measures the pressure in your arteries when your heart beats and pumps blood out. Now, it's dose dependent, and it needs at least 12 weeks from the start of taking hawthorn to show any significant measurable decline. The great thing about hawthorn is not only is it anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant, it's also positively inotropic and negatively chronotropic. Now, what does that mean? Well, the positive inotropic part means that it causes your heart muscle to contract more strongly. And the negative chronotropic part means that it reduces your heart rate. So you've got less effort for your heart to do the same job. Now, your drug equivalent for this type of action is a drug called digoxin, and this is a cardiac glycoside, and it's a positive inotrope and a negative chronotrope. Interestingly, digoxin comes from the foxglove plant, and this is a great example of just because it's in nature and it's natural, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. Don't take foxglove. because it's very difficult to get the dose of cardiac glycosides naturally found in the foxglove so that it's at a therapeutic level rather than that poisonous level. Researchers have also studied hawthorn's ability to support where there's atherosclerosis. So atherosclerosis is when plaque builds up in the walls of your arteries, and this buildup narrows the arteries, it reduces blood flow and oxygen supply to your body. And it's got serious consequences such as heart attack and stroke, and it's a factor in other serious health issues as well. Now, these days we pay more attention to the inflammation, as it's the inflammation which can cause plaque buildup and loosen plaque in the arteries. But hawthorn's main action in relation to preventing that buildup of plaque is by protecting your endothelium. So atherogenesis is when the plaques form within the walls of your blood vessels, and these plaques reduce the ability of the blood vessel to vasodilate, and it increases vasoconstriction. And because of this, your blood vessels become more permeable. So your body responds to this linkage with a process that is inherently inflammatory. So in addition to hawthorn's anti-inflammatory action, researchers have observed its ability to encourage vasorelaxation. And this has positive indications not just for heart disease, but for high blood pressure, healthy aging, and diabetes. So there is really exciting research in relation to diabetes, because the research suggests that hawthorn may help manage diabetes due to its ability to reduce triglycerides and low-density lipoprotein cholesterol. So that's the unhelpful cholesterol. It's also been found to regulate blood sugar and insulin secretion, and it does this by supporting pancreatic cells that are affected by endoplasmic reticulum stress. We'll call it ER. I'm going to refer to it as ER stress because endoplasmic reticulum, well, that's a bit of a mouthful. Okay, so how does all this work and what does it have to do with diabetes? Some of your pancreatic cells have an organelle that folds and synthesizes protein. So your digested protein has a straight amino acid chain, and these pancreatic cells fold that straight amino acid chain into a three-dimensional structure. Pretty cool, eh? Now, which 3D structure it gets folded into is determined by the amino acid sequence. So if the protein isn't folded if the protein isn't folded correctly, it becomes toxic. Now, your system has a safety mechanism whereby if those organelles become overwhelmed by too many misfolded proteins, then the unfolded protein response is activated to try and reduce the overwhelm by increasing your protein folding capacity. But your pancreatic beta cells produce lots of insulin. So if you get them working harder, they're going to produce more insulin. Lots of insulin for extended periods of time can cause your body to become resistant to it. Your body tried to compensate by directing your pancreas to produce more insulin, and so the cycle continues. And researchers have reported that hawthorn can reduce ER stress in pancreatic cells. So how do I like to take my hawthorn? Well, it's great in your diet. So traditionally, taken as a hawthorn brandy or fruit wine, it also makes delicious jams, jellies, and syrups. In herbal medicine, we use the leaves, the flowers, and the berry. So for a therapeutic dose, you probably want to consider a tincture or a tablet from a reputable source. Now remember, plant medicine is potent medicine. If you have any underlying health conditions, you're pregnant, trying to get pregnant, or you're lactating, or if you're taking any medications, don't just rely on the information in this episode. Just like with our good friend foxglove, just because it's natural, it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. So please do get individualized advice by consulting with your medical herbalist. Not only are we trained in which herbs affect a particular health condition, or your current life season, we're also trained in herb-drug interactions and in choosing exactly the right herb and dose for you. You see, your body knows exactly what it needs to heal itself, be that herbal, pharmaceutical, food-based, emotional, or mind medicine. My job as your herbalist is to connect you with the herbs that your body is already searching for. Now, as an executive coach and medical herbalist, I integrate protocols such as what we've talked about in this episode into my coaching sessions. This ensures that my clients not only lead effectively, but they also maintain their well-being. And this holistic approach helps managers, executives, and professionals stay at their peak performance even during those challenging times. Curious about elevating your leadership? I'm Tracy Tutty, and you can find me on LinkedIn, or if Instagram is more your thing, connect with me at Tracy C. Tutty. Let's have a chat about your health-centered leadership. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.